Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with the political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside.
Paget Maynard.
All right, man, we got a lot to talk about, but I just want to mention one thing. I don't care about the other people celebrating it, but black people celebrating the 4th of July. Now, we go back, the 4th of July is a day that we should never, ever celebrate. And one of the reasons is that back during the slavery, the man used to take his wife and kids, go down on a shade tree, build a little fence, and get 2 blacks and let them fight until death. One black killed the other one, then the white man would kill the other one. Now, this is 4th of July. And I'm just hoping that we've got people with enough sense not to be celebrating the 4th of July. That's it. Go ahead.
Well, there's an excellent speech by Frederick Douglass that people in the audience ought to research. And it's called To the Slave, What is the 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
And it was written during Reconstruction. So even though the term slave was used, it should have said, what is the 4th of July to the African American? And at that time, you saw a period where rights were being afforded to African Americans. A few years later, the beginning of Jim Crow and the ascension of the KKK, of course, they were wiped away, and we've had peaks and valleys ever since. But I think the question remains, if you decide, and everybody's got the day off, if you decide you're going to blow up fireworks and throw something on the grill and get together with your family and throw them bones or play some spades, all the things that our people do on the 4th of July, if you're going to do that, ask yourself if you're doing it because it's a day off and you get together with your family and friends and you enjoy each other's company, or if it's because you're looking at that red, white, and blue striped flag with pride and acknowledging all that it's done. That's the question that I think people should at least reflect on as they add some charcoal to the grill.
Imagine you said charcoal. You know what went in my head right away? Black.
Well, yeah, carbon. Yeah, I don't want to get too universal, but we're all stardust. I mean, we're all made of the same thing as the universe.
True.
Particularly people of African descent, our melanin, our carbon. It's the matter of the universe. So yeah.
You were saying, Patrick, you've got a lot of notes there. Let's hear some of them.
Spit, man.
All right. Let's just take a quick look back. The other couple of weeks ago, Dennis mentioned about the situation in New York with the last presidential election.
Rockland.
Yeah. And that the kind of results we are seeing, where Harris in one case got 0 in a polling station, and people are testifying on the oath now that they actually voted for her. There are people testifying that in some polling stations, her name wasn't even on the ballot. They couldn't find it. They couldn't vote for her. And other things went on. Now, we know that a group has been working on it, and they've been to court. the judge think there is sufficient evidence for it to go on, so they should have a hearing coming in the fall. Now, we know it's wider than just New York.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What I found out so far is that some company, they got to do something to the voting machines, some 40% of the machines that were used in the election. And nobody was briefed on the fact that this was being done. There was no oversight, nothing at all. And I look back at something Trump said, we don't need any more votes. We have all the votes we need. But then he went on to say, well, his buddy,
Muskrat.
said, well, if it wasn't for him, Trump couldn't win the election. And Trump came back saying, well, Musk knows more about those machines than anybody else, and boast him up on how much he knows.
Not to interrupt you, Musk also went on to say, if Trump doesn't win, we're all going to prison. But go ahead.
Okay, I didn't get that piece, which means they know they did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the trouble is, are you going to get this Justice Department do anything about that?
Of course not.
No.
No. So where do we stand? What
Fascism.
all of this is about? Elections.
Well, if you remember, I hate to keep bringing it up, but Trump said, man, when he was talking to these religious people, he said, vote this time, you won't have to worry about voting
Right.
again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that means that he's going to try to do away with voting.
Well, he already said it. This is your last time to vote.
Fascism.
Exactly.
It's fascism. We're in it. We're in it right now.
Yes.
No
we're
better,
there.
no better example than a couple weeks ago in L.A., where you had peaceful protests in a 2-3 block area of downtown L.A.
Okay.
Now, L.A. is one of the largest cities in the world if you
Right.
look at it both in terms of square mileage
Yeah.
and population. It's a
Yeah.
massive city.
Yeah.
And because you have protests in a 2 and 3 block area, you had Agent Orange mandate that we needed to send ISIS there to bring it under control and also to bring in the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the L.A. that dealt with the rebellion in 91 with just the local police.
Yeah.
This is L.A., which has some of the tradition of the Southern sheriff's deputies being recruited to go out there under Daryl Gates,
Yeah.
and still retains a lot of that attitude.
Oh, yeah.
They've never been afraid to crack heads.
No.
So you got this department looking at a minor peaceful demonstration being told by the president, I'm going to bring in ISIS and I'm going to bring in the National Guard. Now, the protest was because of ISIS. So he brings in the National Guard. They stand around most of the time, sleep on the floor, no meals are prepared for them.
Yeah.
They do, however, arrest a protester. I can't recall if the protester was an American citizen or not, but it doesn't matter. You just had the Marines in effect of arrest on U.S. streets. That's a violation of the Posse Comitatus
Yeah.
Act. It's completely illegal, which is in line with what Trump does. And then you have, on top of that, you have a situation now where you have troops on the ground. You have people who are wearing masks saying that they're part of ICE, but we really don't know.
You don't know
And
who's
sure enough, in the weeks after, we've had multiple cases of people being retained, if not arrested, by people who claimed to be ICE who were not. And in one case, a woman was raped by a man who said he was with ICE, and he was not. The whole reason why that in a democracy you have a badge and you have a name tag and you have a badge number is because you want the government to identify who their agents are, who their deputies are, so that the citizens have recourse in case one of them gets out of line. You got Trump out there sending out a Gestapo unit
Yeah. Yeah.
with masks, with no identifiers, some not in uniforms,
Yeah.
in unmarked
You're right.
vehicles,
A lot of them not uniform.
bullying and beating up on American citizens. It's so bad that even MAGA is polling against what was going
Yes.
on, which led us, of course, to the unwise bombing of Iran. I think part of his calculation there was to pull the heat away from his unpopular ISIS patrols out there. And another part of it was because he's always said, you know, he wants to be regarded as a big man. Same man, by the way, I don't want to go too much further. Same man who 5 times said that Barack Obama was weak and ineffective and couldn't negotiate, so he inevitably was going to bomb Iran because he didn't know how to negotiate and he was weak. He turns around and does it.
Yeah.
Tells you who can negotiate and who's weak or not.
Now, he sent in military.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be commander-in-chief. But I think they have this whole concept wrong. He's commander-in-chief only when there is a war. America is in a war. He's not everyday commander-in-chief. So he didn't have the authority to bring in these National Guard and whatnot at that time because America was not at war. So he was not effectively commander-in-chief.
But see, one of the things that you overlook, he's got the Supreme Court behind him, man.
That still didn't change the fact that he was wrong.
Well, but I'm saying, I mean, the man's been wrong ever since he's been in office. But he's got a Supreme Court now behind him, man. So he can do anything that he wants to.
Yeah, that's why y'all give him immunity.
Official acts, he's immune. I'll quibble with you a little bit. The commander-in-chief is 24/7. His ability to wage war, according to the Constitution, is limited to a congressional act declaring war.
Right.
Now you can argue that ever since World War II, Korea wasn't declared, Vietnam wasn't declared, Iraq the first time wasn't declared, the second time either, Afghanistan wasn't. Those were presidential initiatives, but they were backed by Congress, and at least they had hearings.
Yeah.
You had congressional hearings on them that said it's exigent circumstances, we need to go to war. This time there was nothing like that, and there was no justification for it, either in L.A. or what he did in Iran. So they go in there based on Satan Yahu's declaration that there's this great danger of Iran having a nuclear weapon, and we've got to get it. He's been saying this for about 25 years, through every presidency we've had.
Yeah.
We've got to get to Iran. They've got these nuclear weapons they're developing. They're an existential threat. They're hours away, he said. He's been saying this for 25 years.
Yeah.
He finally had a president stupid enough to do it, unlike even Bush and Cheney weren't that stupid to bomb Iran. Iran, incidentally, it's looking as if that the tank busters, that those B-2 bombers on a 37-hour mission, risking life and limb, went on, did not, as Trump claims, obliterate their nuclear capability. In fact, what we're starting to see is that the design of those bunkers is such that it almost makes bunker busting technology obsolete because of the way they're designed, and also the fact that Trump ran his mouth so much that in the days before the B-2 bombers left,
time enough to do anything.
Satellite photography from the military-industrial complex shows that there were trucks and convoys leaving that site. What were they taking away? Could have been taken away enriched uranium.
Yeah.
They could have been a decoy. We don't know, but something was going on.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. It's so bad that our own military sent B-2 bombers west towards Guam as a decoy because they knew Trump ran his mouth so much that they didn't want to risk the lives of the B-2 bombers who were about to really carry out the mission in Iran over that airspace. So they set up a decoy to try to keep them as safe as they could because they knew Trump was going to run his mouth.
And the thing about it, from what I've been reading and heard, the stuff that they did in only a few months,
Yeah.
they'll be back.
Right. Because the bombs, those bombs weigh 30,000 pounds each.
Mm-hmm.
And from the reports, they launched 14 to 16 of them,
14.
and Tomahawk missiles from the submarines. So they bombarded those launching tunnels. But by all indication from our own intelligence agency and international opinion is they had minimal effect.
Yeah.
They had minimal effect because Iran actually has an air force. Iran actually has a military. Iran actually has universities that teach people at the highest levels. Iran actually has enough money to send their people to school around the world. They're brilliant, accomplished people, and they know how to build rockets and missiles and defense systems. And it's looking as if they outsmarted the U.S. and Israel.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I noticed that if you saw that press conference with Hegseth and I think he was Joint Chief of Staff, something like that.
Hegseth, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Hegseth?
Yeah. Well, he had a video, and he showed the way the bunkers would be. There were the 3 shafts, and they were sealed off with concrete and blah, blah, blah. And he showed you what happens when the bomb goes in and then it explodes in there. But the funny thing is, he said the first one went out was to break open that.
Okay.
But they never show you that happening. They never showed that happening. So am I to believe that what they did was not a full revelation?
Well, one of the things they said, well, we'll go back in 3 or 4 months. Oh, so they can't wipe these people out, so they'll go back in some
Well,
months.
they said they were totally obliterated. They wiped them out completely.
Trump said that.
But as Trump said.
Trump said that.
Yeah, that's what Trump said.
Thanks.
His intelligence agency said no, they were set back by a couple months.
I said thanks. When
A couple
you said,
months to remove the dirt and debris, and the centrifuges and the apparatus underground is safe if it's still there. If it's still there, it's safe.
Yeah,
we don't know what the Iranians did because we gave them so much heads up. They were moving stuff.
Yeah,
But you see, when you got a blabbermouth like Donald, you can't do anything secret. They're talking about somebody revealed the secret, but they don't know who the body is. It's Donald.
Well, you know, that's the thing that makes it so bad. You know, for me, when I think about it, you know, here this man, but they put all this power in his hand, you know, and he's like a little boy, little kid out here,
Playing
got
with a toy.
all this power, you know.
Well, right now, as we speak, there's a vote being deliberated. They wanted it to happen today, but it looks like it's not going to happen until tomorrow, where the Senate is considering passing this big, ugly bill, this big,
Now the
massive bill.
big, beautiful
Right.
bill.
Yeah.
And in that bill, you're looking at the elimination of Medicaid for millions of Americans, their only health care.
They said 13 million.
13 million. We're looking at the elimination of SNAP benefits, nutritional
Right.
benefits for millions of Americans.
Mhm.
We're looking at the obliteration, if you want to talk obliteration, of FEMA, as we're running into climate change and one of the worst hurricane seasons being predicted on record.
Yeah.
We're looking at this as we have a situation with our energy where we have right now energy coming online from clean sources that is exponentially growing to the point that we are a oil exporter rather than a user.
Yep.
And we can't build panels and technology fast enough to meet the demand for clean energy. This big ugly bill is going to eliminate all that,
yeah.
and it's going to try to force money into the hands of the fossil fuel industry which is not set up and is not in a position to expand what we need in terms of our energy needs in the future. So you're going to be looking at sky high fuel prices.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking at not enough fuel for the people who do have the money for it. In addition to not having enough money to travel, the average American is now going to have sky high food prices
Yep.
because of the tariffs.
Yeah.
The man is a catastrophe.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so bad that even his, like I said earlier, if you look at what his poll among Americans was for his use of these Gestapo troops on the ground here in America, 74% of Americans were against it. That is a lot of people. That's the majority of your MAGA
Yeah.
and almost all of your progressives and independents.
Yeah.
You're looking at a man who's deeply unpopular, one of the most unpopular presidents. In fact, he is the most unpopular president in U.S. history. But he's forcing this thing down the throat of the Senate,
Yeah.
who may or may not pass it. And when it gets through the Senate, if they pass it, and I say if, it goes back to the House, where they're going to have to reconcile it with their language, where you've already had several House people come out, including special needs Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, who said, oh, had I known this was in the bill, I wouldn't have voted for it in the first place. So now it's going to come back to them, and they have to pass this thing. So my point is, if they pass this through the Senate, and if it goes back to the House and they reconcile it, and they pass it then, you know, we're looking at fascism 400. We're looking at people who are compromised and are being bullied and are being blackmailed into voting something they know they don't want. Their own constituents are writing in by the handful, telling them, "Don't you pass this? My mother needs this. I need this. My son needs this." But they're gonna be under so much pressure to do this. There's a chance it could be passed.
Yes, because Sir Donald, King Donald, whatever you want to call him, Donald Duck, I don't know, but he is bullying people, and they're like a set of seedless oranges.
Well,
You know, these men up there, you put people voted to go up there and represent them. They're acting like seedless oranges,
well,
Buffalo Bill rats.
well, the thing is that you see these men falling in line, 2 or 3
Ahmad, they are falling in line because they are afraid. They are not servants.
Well,
They're only there because it's a job to them. It lines their pockets.
Well,
they are not interested in the needs of the people.
Well, that's what-
because
well, that's
if they were,
that's
they would
what-
have tell Trump go to hell.
That's what we're saying. They are not there for the help the people. They are there for
People,
for
some of them come
themselves.
up. Well, I get an election next year. Come on.
Well,
I don't think it's because all of them don't want to help their people. I really do think they're being compromised. You've had Markowski from Alaska vehemently opposed to the bill last week. Now she's waffling and looking as if she may vote for it.
yeah.
You've got Tillis out of North Carolina who said, "Man, I'm not voting for this.
In fact, he said he's not going to run.
And I'm going to have to resign from the Senate."
Yes.
So this type of pressure is completely
But I
unusual.
bet you your girl gonna do it.
And you're looking at something here other than people being weak need, people saying that I see something in this bill that makes me say I can support it. There's example after example. Look, man, fiscal conservatives, right? That's what the GOP is supposed to be.
Yeah.
This bill will add $2.3 trillion to the deficit the first year.
yeah.
$10 trillion to $14 trillion in
Yeah,
10 years. And they're supposed to be the conservative party. So you've got a lot of people who can't explain that, but they're going to vote for it anyway.
Yeah.
They can't explain to their constituency why they're ignoring their pleas to get rid of Medicaid and other things that they need like SNAP. They can't explain it, but they're going to vote for it anyway. So if you can't explain it, if you can't document it, if you can't give bullet points as to what about this bill makes me forget all those other things I've ever said I'm about, what could it be?
Well, it was.
It's a video of them having something with something that they shouldn't have been having.
It's at least
It's a video of a bank account that they shouldn't have access to that's chilling in there.
At least
There's
two
some
of those
stuff out
guys. One was on yesterday yesterday or Saturday. I didn't get a chance to watch him. I was working in my garden, but he was one of those. They said before he come on and everything, he was all ramped up for this bill and everything. He said, so you've got a few, and like you said, I've only seen a few of them who's really hooping and hollering about signing this thing. But this guy, I forget who his name, what his name was. But anyway, he was talking about, yeah, I'm for it.
Who, Lindsey Graham?
No, there was
Miss Ladybug?
I was waiting till you finished to see him up there. You say, and this is that and that is that. And it's the president. That's a very good job. I said, look at that old fool.
Well, but
He had his petticoat up in a bunch.
Probably.
you
Probably.
know, I just can't, I just can't see these people doing anything that Trump don't want them to do. And no matter how that people.
If that were a Democratic president, come out with that, all those Republicans would have been raising Cain about it.
Oh well, yeah.
But Trump brought it out, so it's good because Donald said that's what he wants.
well,
and they don't have no balls enough to stand up and say no.
Well, one of the things that it really irritates me with Democrats, I not out here strong enough. Right now the things that he's doing, we should have more than the woman from Brooklyn. What's her name?
Well, I think you guys, you're talking about AOC. You got plenty strong diplomats. Problems in the leadership. Schumer's a disgrace. What's my man's name from New York? He's Jeffries is a great disappointment. He comes from a family that's too strong for him to be equivocating the way he is.
Yeah.
So maybe the problem is Citizens United, where these guys get so much money, dark money, untraceable money, PAC money,
thanks to the
that
Supreme Court.
they don't have any accountability to their people. And let's not forget the power of AIPAC.
Yeah.
The Israeli PAC. They have bought and purchased the House and the Senate on a line item basis, and the only thing that's missing is the receipt. So we don't have a functioning democracy right now. We have the Democratic Party, which has a large minority of people attempting to adhere to democratic principles, maybe even a small majority, but the leadership is weak. And on the Republican side, they're goose steppers.
Yes, but the thing is that Trump got in with all of these things. Now he can do. It's not anything now that he can't do. Because
Thanks to your Supreme Court.
well, we don't have a Supreme Court now. We used to have a Supreme Court. I used to say, well, maybe the Supreme Court, but now we don't have a Supreme Court. All right, we out of time now, but we'll be back next Tuesday or Monday with more Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we catch you down the next block for more Street Talk. Peace.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.